All right, even more fallout now for Obamacare as a growing number of companies say it is forcing them to change the way they do business. So far, more than 300 employers have publicly gone on the record saying they're cutting back hours and jobs specifically because of the health care law. Many saying they're just not going to be able to keep up with the rising costs. Well, the CEO of White Castle tells Fox News he expects Obamacare will raise health care costs for him by 35%. The White House today says those reports are not the norm. Here's Jay Carney a short time ago.
Is that since the Affordable Care Act became law, more than 90% of the gain in employment has been in full-time positions. That's according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And according to a CEA analysis, corroborated by other economists, there is no systematic evidence that employers are shifting employees to just below 30 hours a week.
Basil Smikle is a Democratic campaign consultant. Didi Benke is a Republican strategist and former White House aide to President George W. Bush. Welcome to you both. Thank you. Good to see you. All right, Basil, what does the White House do with this information? I mean, the 300 companies are public. They're on record. They're being compiled now. People are keeping track of this online. That's significant.
It's significant, but to be honest, I don't know if they actually really need to do it. We saw the CEO of Starbucks come and said, you know, we're not going to take this step. We're actually going to do everything that we've been doing before. This is a good bill, and there's no need to make any of these changes. So clearly there are businesses that don't need to take these steps, and I'm not sure why these businesses have decided to do exactly that, but I think it's become a bit of an alarmist position that they've taken. But I do think, by and large, most of the businesses are going to buy into this plan, and it'll be successful as a result of that.
And Didi, we know how it works here in the good old USA and in capitalism. I mean, if you know, the implementation starts for these companies and they can't afford it or it doesn't meet with their bottom line, they have shareholders to answer to. Small businesses have, you know, families and companies to keep going. So do you think we'll see more, or as the White House predicts, as this rolls out, this is going to level off?
Oh, no way. This is a disaster. We've got 300 companies already. I mean, they're taking people off health care and they're going to part-time jobs. So now we're going to get a paper out. We're going to have to start babysitting and then working part-time also at fast food. I mean, what is this? This is not our country. That's not what it's about. This is a job killer. It is terrible, and it is just messing up the economy. And I really think that we're going to have to delay until it goes away, because it's just not working.
Well, a number of things have been delayed. I mean, by the administration's own admission, some of this stuff is not ready for prime time. We hear the Washington, D.C. exchange that was supposed to open on October 1st, reportedly today, is not going to be ready. I mean, there are problems with this. Basil, do you think there's any chance that the White House goes to the next big one, which is that individual mandate that kicks in next year and says, all right, we admit we want to keep this law, we want to retool it so it does work, but we're going to go along with the really big delay, which is that individual mandate? Any chance?
I don't think there's going to be a great chance that that happens. I do agree that there have been some glitches, and the president has said, as you pointed out, that it's a big bill, it's a complex bill, and it's going to take time to roll some of these things out and make sure that the policy is done correctly. I would give him the benefit of the doubt and let him do that and let the administration do that, but I'm confident that there will not be a big push or a big delay on that mandate.
I think we have a little bit of sound, too, we want to play from the White House briefing, something Jay Carney said a short time ago about this whole fight over health care.
What he will not do is engage in an attempt by Republicans to extort from him what they could not get through the legislative process, what they could not get at the ballot box, what they could not get at the Supreme Court of the United States, and offer as an alternative to getting what they want through extortion, tanking the economy and crushing the middle class.
Didi, extortion is a criminal activity.
Yes.
That's a pretty serious.
It's so wonderful how Jay Carney wants to say these businesses don't know what they're talking about, but we do. Oh yeah, it's going oh so well. The government getting involved in business, it just works out so great every time. And right now, yeah, it is job crushing, and the economy is bad. It's been bad from the beginning, and people don't want it. The polls show people hate Obamacare. They don't want it. So they're telling their representatives, including those like Joe Manchin, who say, yeah, I'm for the delay. Well, you know why? He's from West Virginia, because he's going to have trouble. That's what's happening. These things are starting to be implemented, or we're getting close, and the American people are not happy.
I mean, the polling has shown increasing negatives and dropping positives. So, you know, Basil, what do they do with that?
That's across the board, and that's for Republicans significantly. Look, my thing is, if you don't like the bill, then legislate. Do your job. actually legislate the fixes that you think
And
need
there
to be
have
in
been
the
a
bill.
number of them. I mean, you always hear the stat that they voted in the House 40 times to defund the whole thing, but they've actually done a number of things that are specifically targeted. 7 or 8 of them have gotten to the president's desk and he signed them. I mean,
Right.
there are
It's-
fixes to be
yeah.
made.
That's absolutely right. And look, and there are a couple of problems with this bill. I mean, look,
A couple?
There are a couple.
We have a couple.
There's
Basil
of
says
things
a
that we need to
couple,
talk about.
Dee Dee.
There's a couple of things we should think about. One, the fact that the president really needs this younger generation to buy in.
does.
If he doesn't do that, then I think you're going to see some of the costs go up. Second, I think that a lot of the businesses like IBM, for example, is saying that they're pushing their retirees into this exchange. And I'd be curious to see what impact that has on the overall cost.
See,
And
but
if
that's the
you're in-
problem. It's the young people who are going to get hit more than anyone. I mean, young men, I mean, it's like 90-something%. Young women, 50-something%.
But
So,
the-
I mean, the young people are the ones getting hit, and also the working class, the poor are always going to be
But the
taken care of.
reality is, this is a bill designed to get people who were not on, who did not have insurance, to get insurance, and I think by and large it actually does accomplish
But let's
that
talk
goal.
about the issue that we constantly harp on this, but the young people who are healthy and aren't going to be a bleed on the system unless they have a severe medical problem, the average young person will pay in and not take out as much. So you've got to convince them to get involved. But when the fee is $90, $95, the penalty for them versus buying a full-fledged policy, when they know, well, I'm probably not going to get sick if I'm in a car wreck, well, then I'll deal with that. How do you convince them? How do you get them on board?
And not only that, there aren't any jobs because we have no more full-time jobs. They all have to go to part-time. And that's not good. I mean, the job situation is very bad right now, and Obamacare is just making it worse and worse. And the economy is the #1 issue for Americans,
Well, I think
young
Brian,
Americans.
I agree that there is sort of that moral hazard there, that they need insurance, they should buy insurance, but they're actually not going to do it if they find that the cost is a bit prohibitive. I do think that's a big problem. And as they get older, start thinking about families, you get to be 40, your body starts to break down, at least mine did.
Well, we're not there yet, so we wouldn't know.
I didn't ask.
We wouldn't know anything about that.
Then you'd be more inclined to actually go ahead and get the and get the health insurance. But having said that, I do think there are enough young people that once they come off their parents' plan at 26, are going to feel compelled to go and be a part of this exchange. And even the Wall Street Journal has said that the costs that are involved have been less than a lot of people have thought. So hopefully that actually does work.
It's very high,
We will see.
unaffordable, and I really think that the polling shows that most Americans are happy. And I think it's just the tip of the iceberg. It's going to get worse and worse and worse.
We shall see if your prediction, pans out or if Basil's does. All right. Thank you both very much. Good to see you.
Thanks.